Fu is a very interesting character with layers that have yet to be explored by the narrative, but I have a feeling that boy is gonna be something big. However, there is more nuance to the relationship between Hai and Fu, as well as Hai and Fu themselves, based on what we know right now. If you couldn't tell, there are going to be manga spoilers for the majority of the gachiakuta manga, so be warned. Fu has always expressed a desire to fight. Hai is not unique in this regard. If you look closer at Fu and Hai's differences, they start to blend together. Similar ideals, characteristics, etc. The only main difference being gaps in their physical strength. I think their relationship is a reflection of that gap. Hai is Fu, but if Fu had access to great power that he limits himself from having, which can only be unlocked if someone orders Fu around. Or if Fu doesn't have anyone else to make a decision for him. So, overall, I would say Hai is just an extreme version of Fu. He possesses a strong urge to fight to go along with great strength that can cut down any enemy ahead, for example, defeating Jabber with ease. And strength that grants him the ability to complete any task that he is given. For example, saving Amo from Maimo, but that's it. Fu being oblivious to the fact that it's not enough. Fu is often left by himself, physically, with the raiders abandoning him, and mentally, with the cleaners not trusting him, which leaves him with only Hai to completely rely on. Hai is a reflection of what Fu thinks are strong qualities. A self that has all the strength the other thinks is important. But this strength is what keeps him from creating bonds with others. Fu doesn't want to take responsibility for his actions ever again. Therefore, Fu has already solved his main issue. He has someone to blame for his actions. But yet, he constantly searches for someone to order him around and a group to be a part of. So why does he desire a place to belong? Because, unbeknownst to Fu, His problems cannot be solved with strength, or at least with the strength High provides. Because great strength is at his disposal, Fu will never be backed into a corner, therefore never having to develop. He has a safeguard, so he doesn't have to better himself. As long as High exists, the world will not be cruel enough to Fu in order for him to grow. The ground is not a safe place to begin with, but with strength, any physical conflict can be solved. So what does that leave Fu with? A stagnant, unchanging self. A self that would be better off without the great strength he has access to than with it. Fu and High's relationship is derived from strength. Fu talks down about himself because he doesn't have the strength High possesses. Fu calls High Master High, and High feeds into the act, demeaning Fu, calling him names, etc., because he is stronger than Fu and is based heavily on Fu's ideals. Not only is Fu and High's relationship unhealthy and built upon hierarchy, it's unfulfilling. High is not enough of his own person for Fu to blame High for his own actions. A common misconception is that Zodal made a mistake when choosing to abandon Fu, but Fu proves this to be the right choice by his stagnant development. Zodal's test for Fu was to get him to act on his own, to commit an action that comes with being a raider, murder, and Fu couldn't do it. Because of Fu's opponent and as well as Fu's lack of reason, he was unable to complete a mundane task without being in literal danger or having someone whisper in his ear the command. The raider's identity is crime, making trouble for others, acting purely for themselves and for Zodal. Fu does not make the choice to follow anyone's orders. He does it for anyone who's willing to give the order. That's not true loyalty. Fu has no independence and therefore no loyalty, especially with the great strength that Fu provides. If anyone can give him the order, he would betray anyone without a second thought simply because of his own mental barriers. Jabber's dialogue to Fu when High first pops up to fight him is very important to the direction Fu's character is going to go. Jabber thinks that High is just a story Fu tells to make himself feel less responsible for the actions he takes when someone gives him an order that will hurt or save someone, and Jabber is right. It's already established that High is not enough for Fu to blame. him completely, and the only other time Hai comes out is when Fu needs saving or direction. Fu plays up the theatrics when it comes to differentiating him and Hai. He doesn't want to be associated with the actions Hai takes because it would be too much for him. Taking responsibility is one thing he is incapable of doing. Jabber and Fu are similar in terms of their views of physical and mental strength. Physical strength being the driving factor in their lives, and mental strength being held with little regard. But the way they express it being different. Jabber projects his ideals onto the world he lives in, and therefore the people he's around. For example, Grease being collateral for giving Rudo his spark, and Zanka, in Jabber's mind, having to be just like him because his strength can be on par with his. Fu projects his ideals onto himself and therefore expects everyone else to abide by them. For example, Fu calling in Jin mean for not listening to him. They both expect the world or people to accept them for who they are. It's less that they're directly opposed to changing themselves for it, and more that they don't understand that it's a possibility in the first place. Jabber and Fu both don't understand the nuances of the world, and have yet to be forced into a corner where they have no choice but to understand. Jabber is incapable of seeing nuances like mental health or mental barriers. For example, Zanka and Fu himself. Zanka's fight with Jabber is parallel to Fu, Hai's fight with Jabber. Zanka lost, but Fu won. Zanka's loss inspired him to work harder to beat Jabber, a step in the right direction. It gave him a goal. Fu's win didn't do anything for him. No inspiration. Not pushing him into the right direction. But it did tell us what Fu doesn't need to improve himself. That being more fights. Both fights told us a lot of necessary information about both Zanka and Fu. I won't use words or diagnoses like did because I am not a therapist, nor am I well versed in psychology. I just like the characters, dude. You can interpret this in any way you like. I'm just gonna characterize Fu as I see him. The intricacies matter very little to me. So, enough with the yap. Let's get into the video.
doing that. Hey, I was listening to that. Nobody wants to see that groove on. Take that groove off. Oh, so you get to control the radio? What's up with that, man? I was about to get my groove on. You see my cape flying there? Get your cape out of my face. I'm trying to see the road. Yeah, I hope so too. I really do not want raisins. Trick or treat! work has been shut off for a month. Okay, how about I'm a mother? How about I have a full-time job? How about I gave y'all everything you got? How about Aiden's just a bit? Okay. This is not a game.もしかしてもう決着はつき始めて急がないと僕がビリケツになっちゃう。でも僕から戦闘の始め方がわかんないんだけどどうしよう。お兄さん僕の名前なんだっけそれって言うんだけどフーロスオーケーオレンジ僕はそうじるさボスに言われていることがあってついてきた筋をクラスにしなきゃなんだけどそれはできるんだけどこの嵐屋より早く終わらせろって言われててもし君になったら for you to leave it out like that. You got pockets. Forget this stuff. What the frick is wrong with you? I ain't gonna sugarcoat this. You're a sad little dude.